You're watching All 24 News World News Program. To the headlines. Trump says his 7-hour rescue saved an American pilot, but Iran claims it downed 4 fighter jets and stopped the mission cold, then hit back with its heaviest attacks on U.S. and Zionist targets. Also coming up, Trump warns Iran of hell on Tuesday, but leaves the door open for a deal. Iran counters by threatening to close 2 key straits while quietly easing rules in Hormuz for a few countries. And later on, casualties are rising after Zionist forces bomb multiple areas in Lebanon, exterminating a displaced family in the south. Meanwhile, President Aoun cautions against igniting sectarian strife, saying it plays into Zionist hands. Welcome back. First off in our news tonight, at least 9 people were killed and others injured in attacks across Kogiluya and Boyar Ahmed province on Sunday, according to local authorities. Iran's Minister of Science confirmed 5 university professors and 60 students have died, with 30 universities targeted since the U.S. Zionist bombing campaign began. Separately, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard says 4 of its members were killed in a U.S. Zionist-American airstrike on Ardabil province. A 5th military member also died in the attack on the Magan plain, the IRGC added. U.S. President Donald Trump detailed the rescue of an American pilot missing since last Friday. The operation, which took U.S. forces 7 hours over Iranian airspace, faced heavy resistance from Iranian fighters. Trump told NBC News that the Revolutionary Guard was close to capturing the officer. An airlift by U.S. jets allowed the rescue of an injured F-15 crew member deep in Iran's mountains.
We have rescued the seriously wounded and really brave A-15 crew member from deep inside the mountains of Iran. The Iranian military was looking hard in big numbers and getting close. He is a highly respected colonel. This type of raid is seldom attempted because of the danger to men and equipment. It just doesn't happen. The second raid came after the first one, where we rescued the pilot in broad daylight. Also unusual, spending 7 hours over Iran, an amazing show of bravery and talent by all.
Iran's Revolutionary Guard says it shot down 3 U.S. aircraft during the pilot rescue operation south of Asfahan last Friday. The downed-up planes included a C-130 transport and 2 Black Hawk helicopters. The Guard also reported shooting down a Hermes 900 drone in Asfahan, marking 162 drones destroyed since the start of the war. In a similar note, the IRGC says it struck petrochemical plants in the UAE, Kuwait, and Bahrain, a refinery in the occupied Palestinian territories, and a UAE gas facility. The Guard warned Operation True Promise 4 will escalate if attacks on Iranian civilians continue. The 97th wave came in response of targeting Korg Island's B1 bridge and Mosher's petrochemical industries. U.S. President Donald Trump renewed his threat on Truth Social, warning that if Iran does not reopen the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours, the U.S. will strike bridges and power stations next Tuesday.
Tuesday will be the day of the power plant and the day of the bridge, all in one day in Iran. There will be nothing like it up in the Strait of Hormuz, or you will live in hell. Just watch.
In a related note, U.S. President Donald Trump says a deal with Iran could be reached by Monday, adding that Iran is currently negotiating. In a Sunday interview with Fox News, Trump warned that if no agreement is reached, the U.S. could seize Iranian oil and carry out widespread strikes on infrastructure and power plants. He also said he granted an amnesty to Iranian negotiators to keep talks moving.
I believe we will be able to reach an agreement with Iran by tomorrow, and if it doesn't happen, we will strike everything and seize Iranian oil. The Iranians are currently negotiating, and there is a good chance of reaching an agreement with them by tomorrow. For now, I have granted a reprieve to those negotiating on behalf of Iran. It is possible to reach an agreement with Iran by Tuesday, otherwise I will blow everything up.
Iran threatened Sunday to close the Bab el-Mandeb Strait along with the Strait of Hormuz if U.S. strikes target its energy infrastructure. Ali Akbar Valiati, advisor to Supreme Leader Mujtaba Khamenei, said on X platform that Bab el-Mandeb is viewed with the same strategic importance as Hormuz Strait.
The Unified Command of the Axis of Resistance views Bab el-Mandeb the same way it views Hormuz. The White House will soon realize that the flow of global energy and trade can be disrupted with a single signal if it considers repeating its foolish mistakes.
Iran says it will exempt Iraqi ships from navigation restrictions in the Strait of Hormuz, a move that could allow Iraqi oil exports to resume. Ship traffic shows signs of recovery, but levels remain far below pre-crisis rates. Turkish transport minister, on the other hand, Abdulkadir Oral Oglo, confirmed the second Turkish vessel passed through, signaling Tehran is allowing passage for non-hostile ships after previously closing the Strait of Hormuz amid the Middle East tensions. Still with the Middle East tensions, at least 13 Lebanese were killed and dozens more injured in a Zionist shelling across the country. 9 people were killed in Kfar Hatta, Sidon and Tyre, while a separate raid south of Beirut left 4 more dead and 49 wounded, according to the Lebanese Ministry of Health. A family of 7 from Kfar Hatta, including a child, was killed in one airstrike, described by authorities as a horrific massacre. A Lebanese soldier was also among the dead. The Health Ministry reports that in the past 24 hours alone, 39 people were killed and 136 injured, bringing the total toll of Zionist attacks since the March 2nd to 1,461 dead and 4,430 wounded. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun warned that sectarian tensions serve Zionist schemes and threaten civil peace. He called for intervention to stop attacks on southern Lebanon and condemned strikes on civilians, emphasizing efforts to shelter the displaced and protect their dignity.
We haven't forgotten you. We make daily calls to alleviate your suffering. I know the situation is difficult, but we haven't forgotten you. We will do everything possible to provide you with even the most basic necessities. We are making continuous calls with all the countries to alleviate some of the tragedies. And here I must emphasize that I strongly condemn the Israeli attacks against civilians and innocent people, which unfortunately fail to respect international law or international humanitarian law, particularly Article 4 of the Geneva Convention, which deals with the protection of civilians, institutions, and civilian infrastructure.
Despite evacuation orders and heavy bombardment, many Lebanese refuse to leave their land, showing a strong will to resist displacement. Karmisfai reports.
When conscience dies, humanity dies. These are the words of Jamal Salim. This Lebanese man, devastated and worried, is now homeless after a Zionist strike destroyed his 2 apartments in the Tyre neighborhood on Friday.
These are residential houses. I had 2 residential apartments that were destroyed. Where am I supposed to go now? Should I set up a tent and sit in it? I sit on the rubble, showing the whole world where we are.
Last week, the Zionist entity said it would expand its buffer zone into part of southern Lebanon, reaching the Litani River just north of Tyre. The move has raised fears among residents, though many remain determined to stay in their homeland, despite ongoing threats and worsening conditions.
I will not leave. This is our land, and we will not give it up. Of course, we remain steadfast, and the proof is that we are still here despite the destruction, the shelling, the aircraft, and the most powerful weapons in the world. We are not afraid.
The continued Zionist bombardment has largely isolated southern Lebanon from the rest of the country. According to local sources, more than 1 million people have been displaced, many now facing an uncertain future.
4 Palestinians were killed and others wounded Sunday in Zionist airstrike in Tufah, east of Gaza City. Another Palestinian died and 3 others were injured Saturday night when an occupation drone struck a car in central Gaza. Meanwhile, the Palestinian Central Bureau of Statistics reports that 21,283 children have been killed since the start of the Zionist aggression, including 1,479 infants and 5,031 under 5. More than 80,000 children are now orphaned in Gaza Strip. Turning to other news, during a cabinet meeting, Algerian Minister of State and Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf announced the recovery of over $110 million in stolen assets from Switzerland. Of 33 judicial requests sent, 20 were approved, and 4 cases have been finalized. President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, thanked Switzerland and Spain, noting that 61 requests to France remain unanswered. Tebboune stressed the need for a strong, diversified economy and ordered the mining exploration plan presented to the cabinet without delay. He also called for rapid implementation of all approved action plans in the mining sector. On agriculture, the president instructed full readiness for the harvest season and prioritized mechanization nationwide, linking support to production volumes and regional needs while reducing bureaucracy. The OPEC Plus Joint Ministerial Monitoring Committee expressed deep concern over attacks on energy infrastructure amid the Middle East tensions. In a draft statement, the committee stressed the need to secure international maritime routes, warning that damage to facilities disrupts supply and that repairs are costly and slow, delaying a return to full production. OPEC Plus plans a gradual oil increase of about 206,000 barrels per day in May, focusing on market stability and flexible supply amid the Middle East tensions. The 65th Joint Ministerial Monitoring Committee, including Algeria, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Iraq, Kuwait, Nigeria, Venezuela, Kazakhstan, and Russia, reviewed compliance with January and February production cuts. The committee praised ongoing efforts and stressed that strict adherence to collective decisions is key to global oil market stability. And that's all for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Do take care.